The following is a 1232 Studios production. It's your What's Up Raiders podcast.
Good morning, Raider Nation. This is Gail Dwayne with your What's Up Raider podcast this morning, September 16th. This is the podcast run by longtime Raider fans and members of Raider Nation. We hope to get into your regular rotation of Las Vegas Raiders news and podcasts, while we also hope to give you information from a unique perspective without all the clickbait that some other podcasts give you. You can find us at all the sources for podcasts and YouTube. We want to thank 1232 Productions for doing all the behind the scenes work, including getting us up on YouTube. First of all, I want to just do some house cleaning here. I want to just talk about some changes here at the pod. We are going to be changing our production style. We're going to change the format of the show, and we felt like we were a little bit too buttoned up and maybe just coming across too corporate and too stiff. So we're going to let our personalities fly a little bit. It might be slow going in the beginning, but we think it'll be better for the podcast in the long term. So I just want to get that out of the way. But let's go right into the game. The final score of the game Monday night, Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I still want to say San Diego Chargers for some reason, but the Los Angeles Chargers. The final score was 20-9. It started bad right off the bat on the first play of the game, Geno Smith threw an interception, and that would be a precursor to how things would unfold for the night. I'm going to give it up to, I'm not going to make it out to be, it was all about the Raiders and the Raiders could have crushed them, but the Raiders got in their own way throughout the night, making mistakes here and there. But the silver lining is we kept the Chargers to 20. And when you really get a chance to look at the tape, we could have been in the game with just a few different calls going our way and, some unfortunate penalties and players by mistakes by young players. So let's get into it. First of all, Geno Smith, he just didn't have a great game. After game one, he looked amazing in the rain. He was throwing the ball down the field all week. We heard about all the 20 plus yards per plays that we had and how, it was just a record for opening day for a Raider quarterback or even just a new quarterback with a new team. And it was just the opposite this week. Geno was forcing the ball. He was throwing to guys that were covered. I know he's got a lot of confidence in that arm. And as a former Division II quarterback myself, I want to get a quick shout out to the Wayne State Wildcats in Wayne, Nebraska. I'm not going to be too critical because here's a guy playing in the NFL, but he's clearly trying to force the ball to players that are not open all night. It resulted in 2 first half interceptions, another interception in the third period, and it ended drives where we could have easily taken 3 points and kept the game even closer, moving the game from a 2-point score differential to perhaps a single score win towards the end if things were different. Geno just didn't have a good night. All of it was not his fault. When you look back at the tape, you can see some regular butt kicking happening. Dylan Parham did not have a good night. Meredith didn't have a good night. Good old reliable Colton Miller did well, and Alex Kappa was getting pushed back all night as well. So we've got to tighten up the line and get that center guard area fixed up, and hopefully the return of JPJ can help us out. Let's go on. Let's move on to Ashton Jeanty. There's been a lot of talk online, in different pods, in the chat rooms, and the threads that voicemail threads that I've been on. Ashton Jeanty, there seems to be some debate whether he didn't get enough carries, or he's a bust, or that the Chargers just shut us down. And my perspective, I don't think he got shut down. I just don't think he got enough touches. And 11 carries a night is not going to do it. We didn't pick this guy at number 4 just so that they could have him in bubble wrap and protect him the whole season. Give the guy the damn ball. He was a arm tackle away several times from busting a big play. And I'm going to say these are on. He had several runs for 6 to 8 yards, several. I'd say 4 or 5, and one person trips him up. He was dazzling with some double spin moves. He was making people miss. He trucked a player early in the game on about an 8-yard run. So I just clearly think he didn't get enough carries. And, sometimes you got to win ugly. Maybe we were a little enamored of what we did in week 1, throwing the ball down the field. And if you're going to grind it out and win, if you're going to win 15 to 18, 17, 16, 14 to 13, I'll take an ugly win any day. I just want that W. And I think when I say we, I mean both Chip Kelly, perhaps the game plan was to come in and try to throw the ball downfield. But when they're not giving you that, then you've got to take what you can get. And I don't think the Chargers necessarily stopped the Raiders. We should have been content dinking and dunking, getting 4 to 6 yards of carry, and moving the ball down the field. Unfortunately, 2 times when we're in field goal range, Geno throws a pick to end the drive, and then another time Dylan Parham gets a holding call and ends the drive. So, those were 6 points that we could have had very easily. We're in field goal range. So if you take those 6 points and you look at the game being 20 to 15, and Max Crosby gets not his sack, but his fumble recovery or Max caused the fumble, and the Raiders got it back at 3:58 to go in the fourth quarter. We would have had the ball at 3:58 in the fourth quarter, down 20 to 15. And that's a way different scenario than what we had. Being down by 6 with almost 4 minutes to go is routine for most NFL teams. And we took ourselves out of that position, out of that scenario altogether by simply not taking the points they were going to give us. Again, I'll take a ugly win any day. Let me get into some more players here. Max Crosby. Max was out there just being Max, lining up all over the place, causing chaos, wreaking havoc. And like I said, he was trying to chase Herbert all night. We ended up sacking Herbert twice. But when it came down to it in the fourth quarter, Max hit the running back, Omarion Hampton, just as he got the ball, causing a fumble. And Raiders got it, and there we are at 3:58 with getting the ball back. Unfortunately, it was 20 to 9 and not 20 to 15. So Max is just being Max, and Max is by far our best player and definitely earns the title as face of the franchise. I want to give a quick shout out to Dylan Lobby. Dylan flashed. We're used to seeing him in special teams, and with this new kickoff procedure, it's not always glamorous, but no errors so far this year. But Dylan got in right before halftime after the Chargers had scored their touchdown on a big play, and he got back-to-back receptions. He showed great burst, acceleration, and he's pretty elusive. But I was really impressed with his quickness. So I think Dylan Lobby's earned the opportunity to perhaps get more looks on the offense without, in addition to his special teams work. Definitely flashed, and a few people are talking about that. I noticed for sure. Let's move on to Brock Bowers. Brock looked broken, and I'm not going to question Pete Carroll on them, but he didn't look like he was ready. And I think when I mean ready, he doesn't look like he's healthy. And the Raiders, look, this guy is a yellow jacket candidate already in his second year. Do we want to risk his career? And let's be real. At the start of the game, there's 16 games remaining. Rest him for the week or two, and let's have him healthy for the rest of the season. but having him out there on that leg brace, he obviously looked uncomfortable. He didn't look himself, and the burst wasn't there. He wasn't getting open, and it was bad all the way around. He just didn't look right. So Raiders, figure it out. Give us a report this week, and let's see what's going on with him. But if the kid is hurt, keep him out. Let's get him healthy. Michael Mayer and the other tight end can do the work. Chip Kelly can figure out how to run the offense without him. We need this guy when he's healthy, and it's a long season. So that's my 2 points on that. There was a couple good things. Tackling again this week was good. The Chargers, they've got a pretty potent offense, but when guys were catching the ball, they were getting wrapped up. The big play they had was Caillou Blue-Kelly made a mistake in cover 3. The number one mistake in cover 3 is nobody gets behind you. Very simple. And, he thought the receiver that went in was going on a post route to the free and be the free safety's responsibility. So he began to throttle down. The receiver then bananaed the route back out, headed towards the pylon. Some people call that a flag route. So he ran it back out to the flag. And while Caillou Kelly throttled down, the receiver was wide open behind him. So those are rookie mistakes. Those are teachable moments on film, and I'm very easy to clean up. Number one, nobody gets behind you. We'll keep going. Again, I feel like the Raiders left points on the board. It could have been 20-15 with 3:58 to go. That's a scenario that a lot of teams will say, let's grind it out. Let's, 2-minute offenses would love 4 minutes to do the same thing. So I think by making choices to, again, Geno was forcing the ball all night to guys that simply weren't open. 3 interceptions and just missed opportunities. A few times there were guys open and Geno just missed. A few times that's on him. Other times it's on the offensive line, primarily the center guard combination. Dylan Parham had 2 unfortunate holding calls, and he was on roller skates all night getting pushed back into Geno's lap. So we've got to clean that up. We've got to find a way to shore up that middle. These guys have got to find their anchor and hold it. I don't want to make it out to be the Raiders could have won, the Raiders should have won. The Raiders lost, but I think there's teachable moment on tape, and I think that there's a reason why we play 2 divisional games every week. The Raiders can get these guys if they can stay out of their own way. Just a few things, Meredith fumbled a snap on shotgun, hit himself right in the butt. Ashton Jeanty ran the wrong way on a handoff play, essentially losing the down, and holding calls and false starts. Excuse me. Those were all things that came at bad times to end drives, let alone interceptions at inopportune times. You got to know that if it's as a quarterback, you've got 3 points, 3 easy points, and you decide to throw it down the middle of the field for an easy tip interception, you got to realize, and I would hope the coordinator, Chip Kelly, realizes that we got to keep the ball out of those dangerous situations, especially when we're in the area to get points. Again, I believe it should have been 20-15 with about 4 minutes to go. Let's transition into a call to action for you guys. Did you guys know we have a call line at 971-319-2976? Call, text, or leave a message. We are taking the best callers will be invited as guests on the show. But if there's anything that you want to debate, do you think Ashton Jeanty was shut down by the Chargers? Do you think he didn't deserve more than 11 runs because they simply shut us down and we had to throw the ball? What's your thought on that? Again, I've been hearing different things on that. What's your opinion on some of the penalties and what Geno did this week? It wasn't all Geno's fault, but it doesn't help when we're throwing I thought it was quite the 180 to play so well in the rain and then, essentially give a horrible look on your home opener in the dome. So, with optimal conditions. So Gino's got to be better. Lastly, the last person that I want to talk about is Chip Kelly. I think Chip Kelly, he's a mastermind, but perhaps we were overlooking the obvious and not patient enough to keep moving the ball down the field. Here's a point of contention in Raider Nation, and you guys call, text, or leave a message on your opinion on this specific topic. I believe that we were impatient. I believe that there were several drives where we're getting those hard-earned yards and marching down the field, 4 yards here, 3 yards here, 6 yards here, 4 yards here, 5 yards, and going down the field. And then we try to throw the bomb and the guy's covered and we get a holding call. Or we are moving it down the field, matriculating down, and then we get a sack. Again, I think Ashton didn't get enough touches, but I also think we were impatient, both Gino throwing the ball and Chip Kelly perhaps in the play calling. Sometimes you got to take what they give you. And again, I don't mind losing ugly in an ugly. I don't mind an ugly win. That's 15-13, 12-9. We should have, again, keeping them to 20 points is great, but the game should have been closer. Again, the voicemail, text or call 971-319-2976. So that's going to wrap up this quick hits episode of the game. Monday night, the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Do you agree or disagree with anything I've talked about today? And if you have anything that you want to add, if so, hit us up on the call line. And that's it for the episode. Be sure to visit us on all the socials, including TikTok, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, and Facebook. Until next time, keep your own pride and poise in your own daily life, and see you next time. Thank you, Raider Nation, and see you on the next episode.
Raider Nation, be sure to give us a like and subscribe, as this helps us to create more Las Vegas Raiders content. Follow us on all of our socials, including Instagram, X, TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube. You can even call and leave a message or text us at 971-319-2976.